Welcome. This is Shady Selim from GDG Helwan. Let me thank you for joining us in this recording. This recording is following our last session, which was what is Kotlin Multiplatform, why and how. In the previous session, it was slides. We was talking about Kotlin Multiplatform, its usefulness, and how can we use the best of it, and what is the difference between it and other technologies and libraries that is on the market like Flutter and React Native. So, with no further ado, let's start downloading our special artifacts. We'll need to download Intellij Idea. So why Intellij Idea? Because with Intellij Idea we can create a Kotlin multi-platform with ease, nothing complicated, and straightforward operations. So we can have our project very fast to test how can we change the code in Kotlin for Android in Intellij Idea, and then see the changes on Xcode for iOS applications. So this is the fast track, but I promise you we'll have another session or another meeting, and we'll discuss how we can do this the same with Android Studio. So for this recording, we'll use, as we said, Intellij Idea. Let's download it from jetbrains.com. And I prefer that you download the community edition because it's specific for the JVM and Android development, and it's free and open source. After downloading it, we'll also have to download the JDK. And I also prefer that you download it from Mac FileHorse and make sure that it is Java JDK 8, and of course update to 220 because it is the latest and it is the stable version. Why not downloading it from Oracle? Because Oracle requests an account to download the JDK, and I have no idea why should we have another account on Oracle just to download the JDK, and from here you can just click start download and you can download it. So now we have Intellij Idea, and also we have the Java development kit. The third and last thing is the SDK. The SDK we can download it from Android Studio from developer.android.com/studio. At the end of the page, you will find the JDK that you needed, which is for the Mac command line prompt, the JDK tool. Now that we have our JDK and our Intellij Idea, our IDE, and the JVM or JDK, now we can start with our project. So let's get our hand dirty. We'll use Intellij Idea as we discussed. We'll create a new project. And because we selected the JDK or Intellij Idea for JVM and Android, we'll have the Android and Java and Kotlin. We'll select the Kotlin and we'll select mobile Android iOS. There is JVM, this is for the Android, JavaScript, this is for the front end, and for the and it can communicate easily with React or AngularJS or Vue.js or whatever the framework or libraries, JavaScript framework or library you want to use. It can be used with it. And of course, if you want to use vanilla JavaScript, also you can use it with the JS Idea. Native, it is for the embedded multi-platform. It is for the desktop, the web, front and back, and for mobile, iOS and Android. JavaScript client and JVM, this is for the web, and shared library, it will create us a library that we can consume it from both Android and iOS, but we want to look at the code, and we would like to see how can we open the code from both the Xcode and the Intellij Idea. So we'll select Android and iOS, mobile Android and iOS Gradle. We'll click next. Make sure that you selected the 1.8 because Android only works with JDK 7 and JDK 8, and that's why we downloaded the JDK 8. And JDK 8 is 1.8, Java version 1.8. We'll click next. Now we have to name our project. Let's call it KMP. Kotlin Multiplatform and save it in our project folder and click finish. For the first time, it will need to download some artifacts and some libraries, about 500 mega. So I prefer that you use a stable internet, fast internet, and don't use your mobile internet because it will consume about half a gig. So now it's preparing our project for the first time. For the first project, every Kotlin Multiplatform first project, it will ask us about the SDK dir folder location. That's why we downloaded the SDK. I'll have it here with me. Okay, and now let's rebuild. And now it will build with no problem. So this is normal. Every time you will start a new Kotlin Multiplatform project, it will give you this error and request you to modify or enter your SDK dir location. Intellij Idea created this folder just for the Xcode, to consume it with the Xcode. And that's why I selected Intellij Idea, because the Android Studio doesn't create this folder with its inner artifacts. So that's why I said it's easier and faster to test it with Intellij Idea on Android Studio. Let's open the app and see what does it have. If we open app and then source, we'll find common main. This will be the code that we'll use. This will be the Kotlin Multiplatform code to use. And we'll have Android main and we'll have iOS main. These are the most important three folders: common main, Android main, and iOS main. Let's have a look onto these folders' content. In the common main, you will find expect class sample. This is for testing. And expect a platform. This will be called from within. We use the expect class and expect object to tell the other iOS and Android main that they will have to expect the code to be received or to be modified in another location. This is like an interface. So we'll put the initial implementation here, and we'll overwrite it in the iOS main and in the Android main. So here in the expect object platform, we'll find val name string, and here in the hello is a method which will return a string. It will return hello from and the platform name. So it will return the platform name, so we'll have to change the platform name in both Android and iOS. And then it will be called as an API from proxy or from main. Let's open now the iOS main and see the code within. We'll open iOS main and then Kotlin and then sample. And from it, we'll find sample iOS. The code that was written in sample here as expect expect object platform val name string, we'll find it here as an actual, because this is the override, this is the implementation. Actual object platform, actual val name string iOS. So it will return to the screen hello from iOS. The same is in Android. But here the IntelliJ IDEA made the changes in the main, not in the Android main. But of course I prefer that you do it and make the changes in the Android main. So here also we'll find actual object platform, actual val name, string equal main. So this expect had been overwritten in Android as an actual, and in iOS also as actual. This is very important to remember. And we also return hello from Android. Let's see that in action. First, we'll have to make a configuration to run it on Android emulator. So we'll select Android app, and in this Android app we'll select our module app. Okay, let's do it again. Let's add new Android app, and then select the module app, and here let's name it Android app, for example, or whatever name that you would like to remind you that this is an Android app application, and then select OK. Click OK. Here is our Android app that we just created. It will run on Pixel 2. Okay, let's run it and test it. And it had been overwritten in the sample Android, and now we are expecting to see an application with hello from Android. Will not mind looking at it. Also, let's see in our Android application. Let's look at the view, the layout. Here in the layout, we'll have a text view with ID main text. So which is not expect, and it will run on our mobile application. Installing the application on our device. As we can see, it gave us hello from Android, as we can see in our sample hello from, and then our platform. Let's make some changes here in sample Android. Let's concatenate with Android the build number, the version of our Android. So let's say build dot version dot SDK int. Okay, let's import this file. Okay, it's now imported. Android operating system.build. And now let's try it. Let's run our code and see the changes. So now we can see that our change in code had been reflected on the Android application. Now let's leave the Android application and start testing on the iOS. Let's see how this Kotlin Multiplatform will work in the iOS. First, as I've told you that we have two apps in our application. We'll have our app, which is the multi-platform app, and we have the iOS app. This iOS app is built specific for the Xcode. So let's open it with the Xcode. Open another project. Go to the folder of our application. Our project was called KMP. Let's open the iOS app, and then let's open iOS app Xcode project, and let's select open. Now, as you can see, it looks like a normal startup project from the iOS. But actually it was created by the Kotlin Multiplatform using the Intellij Idea. If we run it, we'll run into an error. Why? Because we didn't build yet our changes. So first we'll have to go to Gradle and remember this part very well. First go to Gradle, open your project, open tasks, then open build setup. And from it, click wrapper. Either that or from the command, write Gradle wrapper. That's it. Now this will create the artifacts for the iOS in our application. And actually it's done. Okay, let's test it in our application. Our iOS app, we run it on iPhone SE simulator. Let's open the simulator to see what will be done. And now we can see our application is up and running on the iOS device. We'll now expect to see on the screen hello from iOS. But how that happened? Where is the code behind that? If we opened our view from the view controller Swift, we'll find that it's called label. Yeah, hello from iOS. It's called label dot text proxy dot proxy hello. Where is that code exactly? Let's return to our code and see where this code came from. Okay, sample iOS is only send iOS. But if we went to the common main, we'll find here proxy and proxy hello, which call the function hello. So here it really saw the proxy and it called the proxy hello. So it really saw the proxy from the Kotlin library and from the Kotlin class and called the proxy hello from it. Okay, let's try to do some changes, like we made the Java give us the version of the Android. Can we also here see the version of the iOS? Let's try it. We'll open app, we'll open source, we'll open iOS main and Kotlin and sample iOS. Here it's telling us just to write iOS. We want also to write the version of the iOS. I already have the code prepared for that. Let's just copy and paste it. Actually, this code is Swift code. It's Swift object. UI device, it is Swift. It's something related. Okay, it's missing the $. Yep. So the UI device, it's actually a library, and it's telling me, should I import platform.ui device? Yes, you are very smart. This library, actually, if you went to Objective-C and Swift interop, we'll find that Kotlin native interoperability with Swift Objective-C. So we can actually call some of the native iOS libraries from within our Kotlin Multiplatform language or library. Okay, let's run it and see. No. First, remember, any changes that you will do for iOS, you'll first have to go to Gradle, open your project, then tasks, then build setup, then wrapper. Now you are ready. Let's try our code again. Let's return to the Xcode and run it again and see the changes on our emulator. Until it runs, let's have another look into our code. What did we insert? We insert UI device, current device, system name. So that will give us the system name, which is iOS. Then we'll give space and we'll use UI device, current device, system version, and this will tell us the current version or the system version of the iOS which will run on our simulator. And to use that, we import the library platform UI kit for iOS, and then UI device to return the device information. And now we can see that our application is running with iOS, and its iOS version is 13.5. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you learned how you can create a simple project using the Intellij Idea to create a Kotlin Multiplatform project for both iOS and Android. And I invite you to download it, install it, and try and play around. And please tell me with your findings and if you find this tutorial useful for you. Thank you again and have a nice day from GGG Helwan. With you was Shady Selim. Okay, and have a nice day. Stay safe, stay home.